Hi, in this demo I will show you how to work with Postman collection, how to mount a device, how to read, create, update and delete data. First, let's take a look at 3 things we need to understand before we start with HTTP requests. First is the HTTP method. In Uniconfig, we use 4 types of HTTP methods. GET is used for reading data, POST is used for executing RPCs, Put is used for creating new data or updating existing data, and delete is used for removing data. Second important thing is the URL. Each URL represents a path in Yang data structure. We start with the IP and port of the virtual machine where Uniconfig is running, followed by RESTs, indicating we want to access REST API. When we want to execute an RPC, this is followed by the word operations. Then there is the name of the RPC we want to execute, prefixed by the namespace of the model where the RPC is described. When we want to access data, instead of operations, we just put data. As I mentioned, the URL follows Yang model. The base model here is network topology. So if we compare the URL with the model, we can easily go up and down the Yang tree. As you can see, under network topology container, we have a list topology, same as in the URL, which has a key topology ID that is specified in here. Then we go further down, and here we have a list node with the key node ID that is specified in here. Any container within Yang model needs to be specified in URL as well as any list, followed by the list key. If there are multiple list keys, they are separated with a comma. The URL represents the path to the data within Yang models. So the last thing we check is the HTTP body. The body represents the actual data in JSON. Therefore, appropriate headers needs to be set, which means content type JSON should be set. Let's explore some requests. Mounting is first step. Each time you mount a device, it is mounted on 3 different layers: southbound, unified, and Uniconfig. Southbound layer can be either CLI or netconf. In our case, it's CLI, depending on the protocol that we want to use to communicate with the device. Unified layer, as the name suggests, unifies the behavior of nodes that are mounted through different protocols. Uniconfig layer contains the operations and transactions that can be done with the configuration. Mounting actually means to connect Uniconfig with the device. Let's check the request here. Put method means we are creating data or updating existing data. The URL tells us we want to create data in CLI topology, and we want to create a new node. Always the Yang element with which the URL ends, the body has to start. The body then tells us what kind of node we want to add and its attributes. When you mount a device, we read all supported configuration and store it in configuration and operational data stores. When we want to change the configuration, we change only the config data store. Operational data store is read only. To read the data, we use get HTTP operation. To read operational data, the request needs to end with content non-config. This operation does not require HTTP body. We can issue get on full configuration, just like now, or just pick a more specific URL by moving along the Yang tree. In this case, if we want to see a specific interface, we go through interfaces, interface, name is 11. Same rule, this moving along the Yang tree applies to put and delete methods. If we do put on a Yang element, we create it in config data store. Issuing delete on the same URL will remove the element from config data store. So far, we are only changing the configurational data store. We can do multiple puts, deletes, however you like. The device won't be affected until we call operation called commit. You can find out more about operations in the video called Uniconfig Operations. For further information about how Uniconfig works, go to docs.frinx.io.